What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Eclectic Collector channel. So today we're going to be talking about something that I'd mentioned previously. I think I talked about it in a haul video. I think in my last haul video I mentioned that I wanted to talk about this series in a video, so it's fitting that we are going to do it after, I think last week I dropped my Shuzo Oshimi Blood on the Tracks video, which is a series that I've read the first 2 volumes of so far, and absolutely, I want to say, part of me wants to say loved, but another part of me wants to say I was absolutely horrified by it, and I'm going to read more of it. I'm going to try to read the rest of it. I think there's like 17 volumes altogether of Blood on the Tracks, so I really want to finish that series. But we're not talking about that today. What we're going to be talking about today is a series called Gift of Poison, and Gift of Poison is a series that really does remind me of the works of Shuzo Oshimi, and more than anything, I feel like it reminds me of like Uncut Gems. It's a dude who just takes every L under the sun. So let's talk about Gift of Poison. If you've read this thing, I'd love to know your thoughts, and yeah, let's jump right into it. So our lead in Gift of Poison is a dude named Gift Hisano, and this is a series that was written and drawn by Dodotan. I don't really know anything else that Dodotan has created. I don't know if this is the only series that this creator has done, but it does feel like Shuzo Oshimi worship. It feels like it's a whole style now, and maybe other creators will write, I guess, or maybe other creators have, in the past written in a sort of Shuzo Oshimi style, having been inspired by his works. And this feels like something that was 100% inspired by Shuzo Oshimi. So pretty much the premise of Gift of Poison, which follows the lead, as I'd said, Gift Hisono, is that he is like in middle or high school and is in the art club, and he's got a ton of awards and whatnot. He's received a ton of awards, and he's got trophies or whatever in his room. He's like a super gifted, artist, and he's in an art club with 2 other characters, which is his good friend. The dude considers him a good friend, but he kind of dogs on the guy a bit. But it's a dude named Taima, who is his friend, and then another girl named Kadomi. Kadomi and Taima both, I guess, have more of a means, to come by the art supplies that they need. And Gift, I think, just lives with his mother or something, and he gets an allowance, and it's not really enough to cover the paints that he's going to use, to do his projects or whatever. And what he does, it's so paint intensive, because he uses so many different colors, I guess, to try to create these huge, sort of portraits. So in doing that, he ends up needing a lot of paints, and he uses really expensive paints. And one thing the story does, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of, is American Psycho, because it goes into this insane breakdown of all of the paints that Gift uses. It goes through all these different paints, and he'll sit there and just rattle off 20 different paints on one page. It'll just rattle off all of these different paints and whatnot, and the prices, I think, and it rattles off the prices, of all the different paints and whatnot. And you can tell, this is this dude's passion. That's to the point where he can just do that right off the top of his head. And as he's painting, he's thinking about, what he's using, what paints he's using, and how much they all cost and whatnot. So it's kind of it gave me Patrick Bateman vibes, where he's going on about his face scrub or whatever, his face mask that he uses, and all these different daily routines that he's got. And it's all really analytical. And it's kind of funny because I'm not really 100% like that, but I am kind of, in a sense, almost like that, where I kind of regiment my life to an extent. to the point where, like, I wake up in the morning and I listen to like an audiobook. I go to work listening to an audiobook. I get to work, I do my job, I get home, I work on a project, like I edit a video for the channel, or I work out or whatever, and then I practice Japanese, and then I go to sleep. And it's pretty much like, it depends, like on what I got going on or whatever. Like if I don't have to work out, like if it's not a day where like I have a workout that I'm gonna do, I will read some manga before practicing Japanese, or I practice Japanese and then read some manga, because like I'm always trying to read something for the channel, and I always got something open in front of me, and to some extent or another, because I'm always trying to get the next video going. So pretty much like I do have a set schedule for pretty much every single day of my life. The weekends are the only time where like I really don't have like a set schedule. And while it's not the same thing as like what Gift does, there is a sort of analytical thing to it, because like I kind of more or less know what time I'm going to be doing what thing, which is kind of wild, because I'm sure there's people that like don't really plan their days like in any way, shape, or form, and just kind of like wing it. And I'm not one of those people. Like I need to know what I'm going to be doing like at all times. Like that's just how strict I am with everything that I do. And I've been trying not to be so strict with my life and whatnot, and trying to like get more gaming done and start like just enjoying myself more, and not just being like, oh, I got to get the next thing done, I got to get this done, I got to get that done, because I feel like life is way too short. Who knows how long I'm gonna be here, and I want to like enjoy myself more, and not just have everything be like work. And I feel like Gift is that same way, where like every moment of his life is consumed by his art, and it takes him to a point where he ends up essentially stealing. And I'm gonna not go too into every single thing, so it's not like I'm just telling you everything that happened, but it's kind of difficult to talk about this series without talking about those elements of it. Daima sees Gift as like a really good friend, and then meanwhile Gift, who was like this really pretentious artist, because he's got all these awards or whatever all over his room. His room is just covered in awards. He sees himself as being like this, like this incredible artist, and he wants to be like one of the best artists in the world, coming out of Japan, and he wants to leave his mark on the world and whatnot. And he looks at Daima and his work as being, like average, mediocre, middle of the road, nothing special about what he does. And in this thought process, he feels like the paints that Daima has, and his ability to, come by them because his father was a famous painter, or is a famous painter, or whatever, because of that connection, to his dad, he's able to come by whatever paints, and he's got like a whole box or whatever with like a ton of different paints that he uses. And Gift, wants to take some of those paints. But, instead of doing the normal thing, instead of being a regular human being and saying, hey, Daima, yeah, Hisono, instead of saying like, hey, Daima, can I have some of your paint? Can I please have some of your paint? I'm out of paint to do my portrait. Would that be okay? And I'm pretty sure Daima, because Daima's like a good dude, would say like, yeah, man, that's fine. There's no problem with that. But no, he doesn't do that. What he does? He goes and like he puts some of that dude's paints on his palette, and Gift thinks that Kadomi is like pretty much like enveloped in her own art, whatever she's got going on, and she's not paying attention to him. So he kind of like sneaks his way, Solid Snake style. He sneaks his own way. He sneaks his way into that dude's space or whatever, and starts putting a bunch of different paints on his palette. And he turns around, and Kadomi is recording him this whole time, and she asks him like, what are you doing? And pretty much right there he's caught. And then the rest of the series after that is basically this girl just blackmailing this dude. And it's hilarious, dude. She like blackmails this dude, and it's like one of those things where like, because I read this on the Manga Plus app, and it's funny seeing the comments, and I agree with the comments as well. Like people are saying like, bro, just apologize, tell Daima that you took the paint and apologize. But no, he doesn't do that. He just, makes the hole, like, he just keeps shoveling deeper and deeper and just making the hole way bigger than it needs to be because he's an idiot. And it's like he's just like, supposedly, he's like this incredible artist, and what he makes up for in his vision, being this solid painter or whatever, he lacks in common sense. So pretty much Kadomi, leverages this against him to just make him commit crimes and whatnot and just do really stupid things. And at one point she makes him steal some paints and whatnot, and then she records him stealing the paints as well and makes him confess to having stolen the paints and confess to having stolen some of his friends' paint from his little basket or whatever. It reminds me of like Uncut Gems. I don't know if any of you have ever watched the film Uncut Gems, but it's pretty much this dude who is like a jeweler or whatever, but he's a jeweler in like New York somewhere. And I saw that movie in theaters, and I felt like I was sweating. You know what I mean? Like, that's how intense it is, where I just kept feeling like I was sweating. And it reminds me of things like there's some films from the 90s, like one of them is called Very Bad Things, which is a 90s movie, and it's kind of one of those things where like it just keeps escalating, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And then Uncut Gems is like that as well, and like Good Time, same dudes who made Uncut Gems also made Good Time, and Good Time stars Robert Pattinson. And it's kind of like the same thing where it's just like escalation after escalation after escalation, things just getting worse, 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 worse. And that's what Gift of Poison is to me. It's just like, and the thing with Gift of Poison, it's so easy, dude. It would have been so easy for this dude to just get out of it if he would have just, it would have been so easy for this dude to just get out of it if he would have just apologized to his friend and said, hey, you know what, I screwed up. I took some of your paints. I hope you're not mad at me. But no, instead he gets his friend and then this other girl that he confesses his love to, involved, and now they're fighting his battles. Meanwhile, he hasn't apologized, to his friend for what he did originally. And then at one point in time, like the school principal or something gets involved, and then he starts lying to the school principal as well. And it's like, it's so dumb, dude. It's just like, it's so dumb, bro, but I enjoy it, you know what I mean? It's like, kind of like, I want to say it's like a guilty pleasure sort of a story. I don't think everybody's going to like it. It's definitely not going to be for everybody. Like, it's definitely one of those stories where certain people are probably going to be just like, this dude's an idiot, and then just like never read another chapter of it. They'll probably read like the first 2-3 chapters because it has like lost readership, from the first chapter, when it first came out, to like the 9th chapter or whatever that's out now. As of the making of this video, the 9th chapter is out, and yeah, by the time this video comes out, the 10th chapter will probably be out. But pretty much where it's up to now, it's lost a lot of readership, and like, it's like I don't blame people for not, continuing to read it, because it is just like this dude who is a total idiot, and it's like, it's so easy to solve the problem, but I'm in too deep. I'm in too deep, and I want to continue it. I don't know if it'll get canceled or not, you know what I mean? Like, it might get canceled. I kind of hope it doesn't, because I want to see it, kind of reach its conclusion, which I don't think it's going to go on for that long. I don't see this type of thing lasting too long. People have compared it to, I know I mentioned Shuzo Oshimi at the beginning of this video. People have compared this story to Flowers of Evil. I haven't personally yet read Flowers of Evil, but I will, because I want to do a Shuzo Oshimi mangaka spotlight video, so I want to at least read the first volume of everything that I have by Shuzo Oshimi, and I've read a pretty good chunk of, just Shuzo Oshimi manga in general. I think there's maybe like 3 or 4 series that I own that I haven't read yet. Otherwise, like, I've pretty much read at least the first volume of most of my Shuzo Oshimi manga for videos, or just out of curiosity or whatever, but mostly for videos. Most of the stuff that I've read has always been for a video, and it's never disappointed. I'm not always the biggest fan of everything that he's written. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Sweet Poolside or of like Avant-Garde Yumeko, but I mean, I did read them, and I liked the artwork that he comes up with. I liked his wild ideas, and I feel like Gift of Poison could have ramped up a little bit more, in the severity, of the things that Gift does. Because, like, even now, like, what he's done is kind of innocent, but it's just funny, like, it's funny to me, like, this dude who just keeps making things worse for himself. I feel like, at worst, people will just stop talking to him, Well, he did commit, like, a legit crime, because he stole from a store or whatever. So he committed a real crime there. But it ends up getting resolved. And there's just... the escalations could be, like, a lot more intense than they are. Because there's definitely stories with, like, way more severe, escalations. And who knows, maybe this could, at some point in time, take a more severe escalation. But I kind of don't... I don't know. It might not. I don't really think that it will. I just wanted to talk about it because that's one of those things that I said I was going to talk about, like, it piqued my interest, and just, like, you just see this dude take L after L after L, and you're just like, bro, what the hell are you doing? And it's funny, dude. I thought it was pretty hilarious. But I think that is it. That's all I got for you. I hope that you have enjoyed our time together. If you've read Gift of Poison, or if you're reading anything, whether it's on the Manga Plus app or anywhere else, I'd love to know what you think of that thing that you're reading. It doesn't have to be manga. It could be a book. It could be anything. It could be a comic book. And yeah, I was actually going to make this a bigger video. I was going to talk about Astro Royale as well, and Ghost Fixers. But Astro Royale, I've only read the first chapter of, and that's by the same dude who did Tokyo Revengers, Ken Wakui. It's the same creator, and I read the first chapter, and I started reading the second chapter and haven't gone too far into it yet. And Ghost Fixers, I read like the first 2 chapters and dropped it. I just cannot continue it, and it's a shame because I love that mangaka. The same mangaka who did Ghost Fixers also wrote... He also wrote Summertime Rendering, and Summertime Rendering is one of the best things that I've ever read, and I love that series. It's so incredible, and it's like, I don't know how you go from Summertime Rendering to Ghost Fixers, and it's kind of disappointing, because, yeah, I just cannot. I don't see myself reading any more of it. It's terrible, and it's a shame, because he's such a solid creator, and for having created Summertime Rendering, and then it's like, I don't know how you go from that to the current thing, but I don't know. If you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, you can go over to Patreon and become a member for $2 a month. I do behind the scenes videos. I post all sorts of updates and whatnot for what I got going on the channel. I post sometimes early, pretty much like the thing that I'm going to talk about the following week. I mention it up to like a week early or whatever. And yeah, I started doing like behind the scenes videos, like recording, scripting, whatever, just doing that sorts of stuff. So it's literally $2 a month. If you want to support, you don't have to if you don't want to. You could also drop me a super thanks under this video if you feel so inclined. And that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's been real. Until next time that we meet.
Yo, it's himself, the Shadowrunners clique, aka Sleep All Out. Take you on a mental and live for one day, y'all. Sheets, y'all. Guns, y'all. Yo, who got the guns? Who got the coke? Hustle them through like big punch cholesterol before he croak. Rest in peace, but I bless in peace and live to one day lean shoots. Rap over beats and tell wild stories, the mythology mystery. Choke on your own misery. Fuck them, we're the wild bunch. Yo, I asked him if this bike could punch. This shit made me lose my lunch. Bro grabbed the rocket, I said chill before he cocked it.